Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Impeachment, it's much more tribal today. I mean, these hearings today are going to be much more like the O.J. trial, the great trial at the end of the 20th century, where people took sides very quickly. It wasn't so much about the facts, it's about your perspective, your history as a human being in this country.
Yes. Let you guys in on something. When the last president tells a group of people that you're clinging to your God and your guns, and then the person that's running to replace him calls them deplorables, it becomes personal. And when you make it personal, as the people on the left have with the way that Trump's acted, and I understand that, you understand that this ain't happening. It isn't. The way that you think it's going to happen based on everything here, it ain't happening. The people on the left think, hey, we've got him now. People on the right, in particular, the Trump wing of America, they're not going anywhere. His base isn't abandoning him. They're not. They're not going anywhere. They're not abandoning him. They're not leaving. And sad but true, they're not saying, hey, Constitution's most important thing. Most important thing, most important thing. This is it. You made it personal. You made it personal. And when you make it personal, and then on top of that, you send out the worst two salespeople you have to try to sell this thing, right? Pelosi may be a very shrewd, smart, calculating politician, but she's not the one that should be selling this because there's divisiveness there with her. And Adam Schiff, again, could not sell anything to anybody ever. Ever. And instead of trying to appeal to the American people, especially because you don't need your base, right? You don't need your base to get behind this. They've been behind this since the night he was elected. You need the people behind him to understand, hey, it ain't you. It's him. It ain't you at all. It's him. But the people selling this thing just continue to do the same thing over and over again. Everybody's made up their mind. 81% of people, according to the new Axios poll, essentially said, hey, look, made up my mind, and you're not going to get me to budge. That leaves 19%, of which probably 10% of that may not even care at all at this point in time. So that leaves 9% that you're going to have to sway. And I don't think that's happening anytime soon. And the salespeople. I said it when this first started up again. You better find somebody else to sell this thing. Because if this is it, it isn't happening.
You're going to have the Republicans shifting against the guilt or innocence of the defendant here, the president, to the guilt or innocence of the deep state, of the Democrats, of the media. They're going to do everything they can to shift the question to, do you like liberal Democrats? Do you like Adam Schiff? Do you like Maxine Waters? Do you like any of these people? Do you like AOC? They're going to shift the attention and the question away from the guilt or innocence of the president to, do you like these people you're watching in these hearings? Do you like these Democrats? I think that's where we're going to end up at the end of the day.
No. That's what they'll say, no, because they don't like us. They don't like us. It's a little thing, right, that goes a long way, but it adds up. You got a professor at Berkeley, right, like a instructor, instructing in philosophy, everything you need to know right there, who comes out, tweets out about how stupid people are in the rural areas, and they should suffer. They should pay more for everything, and they should, their life should suck, and they should suffer until they move into a big city. They should pay the price for their bad choices. Yeah, they think that way. Absolutely they do. 110%. And that's why they stand with Trump. because Trump looks them in the eyes and says, don't listen to those people. Those people suck. Those New Yorkers, they suck, right? I was one. Those Californians telling you, hey, better do what we do or else. Yeah. And it's a win. It's a win. They're not going anywhere. But remember, the gods and the guns and the deplorables, they remember that. They absolutely remember that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Today, a horrible incident took place. California again. Another situation, another shooting. It's a lot to uncover with this, which will come. Didn't take long for politics to get involved, but first and foremost, the details of it all.
The victims here range in age from 14 to 16 years old. 2 students are dead, a 16-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. L.A. County Sheriff's Captain Kent Wagner says surveillance video shows a student gunman pulling a .45 caliber handgun out of his backpack and firing.
Shoot and wound 5 people and then shoot himself in the head.
Detectives are now searching the alleged shooter's nearby family home. Today is a suspected shooter's 16th birthday.
Yeah, horrible situation with that. The politics jump straight out because we can't even get to the point now where we can let it go, right? Like let's just take a deep breath, figure out what took place. All of those things, it becomes the politics of it all. And wasn't a rifle. It wasn't an AR-15. It wasn't any of those things.
The weapon that he used was recovered at the scene. It's a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, which had no more rounds in it.
Yeah. No more rounds in it. And he didn't die, even though he tried to commit suicide.
He shot himself in the head, so he's in grave condition. He is not one of the ones that has passed away.
So why? Don't know. Do not know. We'll find out. He's Asian? Uh-oh. Well, hold on a second. That changes everything. Because that's the politics of it all. Right? You got former President Clinton coming out saying, hey, man, why don't you get something done? Right? Just because you're getting impeached doesn't mean you shouldn't be getting some stuff done. Because you okay? Is that it? Because you know how that's what happens now, right? Getting stuff done comes that way. So these people are trying to take you out. You've stopped doing anything in D.C. I talked to Congresswoman Debbie Lesko last night. She says it doesn't matter what's going on right now. It doesn't matter what we talk about inside of our committees. All that anybody cares about, even inside the room, and we're working on important stuff from, with Homeland Security and all of these things. All anybody's talking about or cares about and the focus is on is, and other people are missing meetings because they're going to the impeachment stuff. The night before, I talked to Congressman Schweikert that says you go into these meetings and all anybody talks about is this. So to think that you're going to get something done is silly, but you never miss a chance to get political in a tragedy.
How can we turn the other way? How can we refuse to see that shooting in real time, demanding our attention, requiring our action? We are complicit if we fail to act.
And what are we supposed to do? That's just it. All right. So it wasn't one of those evil guns. It wasn't the typical situation. You had a 16-year-old. How did he get the gun? Chances are he didn't buy it legally. Did he steal it from mom and dad? Did he buy it from somebody illegally? How did this all go about? Right? But first and foremost, deal with the things in front. But as they're saying this, I know, because you see, the NRA is a terrorist organization. Like the NRA, so wait a minute. First it was those guns, right? Now, this was a handgun. So are we getting rid of handguns now? I mean, what's the, where are you going to go? How long does this politically stay out there? Because you're going to get people to go, okay, well, wait a minute here. You guys, you're screaming for gun control. Okay, this kid's 16, shouldn't have had this gun. Let's figure out how he got it. Secondly, this isn't that gun that everybody wants to get rid of. That's the evil bad gun, right? So because of that, what are you saying now? We got to act on something else? They're raising a ton of money off this because that's what happens. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Breaking down the Toy Hall of Fame throughout the day. I'm looking at a few of them. So the finalists this year were Care Bears, the Fisher-Price Corn Popper. Which one's that, Phil? Was that the one that looked like a little lawnmower thing and it just pop, 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 pop?
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, those are annoying. The parents, trust me, Jenga Masters of the Universe, My Little Pony, Nerf Blaster, Risk, the smartphone. Is that a toy? That's an expensive toy. Is that a toy? That's a computer. I don't know if that's a toy. Although you get addicted to games. Man, I know people who are addicted to all kinds of silly games. Like my aunt, I'm like, what are you doing? You're a grown-ass woman and you're playing I can't help it. And you're spending money. Oh, goodness me. But we'll tell you who did get in because none of those did. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from all of you. My pillow, man, I cannot wait to get home. So, because the last couple days, because of all the impeachment stuff, and I was doing a ton of stuff for a bunch of other stations on top of everything else, I stayed up here, and boy, oh boy, it was a struggle. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was a little bit of a struggle. Did not have my go anywhere pillow. Didn't have any of those things. So what did I do? I didn't sleep very well. Tonight, in my own bed, oh my God, I can't wait. They're offering huge deals. I'm telling you guys, with Christmas approaching, you are fooling your stuff. You're like, don't worry, I don't need that kind of. No, you're fooling yourself and everything. I have people here. They saw I got a delivery the other day from My Pillow. I got new towels because I got towels. I'll tell you about that more later. But oh goodness me, people are like, what? I said, just go online. New listener special, mypillow.com. Type in code Benson. They got everything you've ever dreamed of. Super massive discounts. Now's the time to get everybody the stuff that they want for Christmas. They will thank you for it throughout the year. And I'm telling you, get the mattress. Oh, get the mattress topper. You're going to love it. Go to mypillow.com. Click on the new radio listener special. Type in code Benson. And right now they get the buy one, get one free. MyPillow. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. New radio listener special. Use that code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, the only place so far that the Mueller investigation hasn't deep probed for collusion.
Redacted! Redacted!
Stay tuned.
This is Chad Benson.
In September, the president predicted that by the 2020 election,
we think we're going to have close to 500 miles of wall.
But the president's acting Customs and Border Protection head, Mark Morgan, now says they have built no new wall, only replaced what's broken.
The 78 miles that have been built where there was an existing form of barrier.
It is unclear how the president can build 500 more miles without congressional funding.
Think about this for a second, right? So let's just have a little fun, right? We'll play the what if scenario. What if? So Trump survives impeachment. Next year, June, midst of a race, DACA. They look and they say, hey, you know what? We're going to give it to Trump. Right? If Obama had the authority to do this through executive order, Trump has the authority as the president to undo it. Oh, no. Okay, so that goes on. Then you're in a position where you've got the 700,000, 800,000 million people looking at the Democrats. And the Democrats are like, all right, what do we do? Right? What do we do? Do we hold on and hope we win and we could have whoever wins do something, reissue something, the whole 9 yards, or maybe we win enough that we can get the immigration reform we want through. Well, it's a possibility. Or do we go to Trump now, even though there's only a few months left? Ooh, yeah, we could do that. Let's hold on. So they hold on. Trump wins again. And everything's kind of a push. Nothing really changes. Senate, House, whatever. We'll just call it that way. But Trump's won. And then the Democrats are like, well, we better go ask him. He wants his damn wall, but, he did offer us like 1.8 million or 1.5 million, whatever it was, which is more. And they go to Trump and they said, all right, we're willing to deal with you. And he says, 500,000. Well, what happened to the offer before? That was before. This is new. This is new time. That was old time. You didn't want. You wanted to run this game, and now it's over. So, yeah, we'll do some comprehensive immigration reform, but it ain't going to be what it was before because it's new time. And new time starts now, and new time starts at 500. And they're like, we're not going to do that. Then he goes, 400. We could do this all day. Total breakfast club. Don't know if that'll happen. Because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, God, a year with Trump in this presidency is a long time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. So the Toy Hall of Fame, we're going through some of these. Matchbox cars, which you figure would already have been in there. Now, anybody can nominate a toy, they say, but to make it into the hall, a toy has to be innovative, widely recognized, and foster creativity and discovery through play. So, one of the first ones to get in on this one, Matchbox cars. There's more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We were just talking about Good Samaritan laws and whether or not we were off air talking about it. And we were talking about the reality is people are always so worried about, like, if I help somebody, what if I hurt them? It happens every once in a great while, but more people, according to a new study, you have a potential of being in more trouble for not helping. They want people to help. Now, look, you got to be smart about it, right? And one of the things is if somebody's got a head injury, a neck injury, you move them if a car's going to explode. A car flips over, somebody's hurt, you move them then, right? You got to get them out. But otherwise, people are afraid. And I get it. Because there's this thing that, like, oh, my God, if I give somebody CPR, what if I hurt them? You're probably going to hurt them. You're trying to save their life and their pulse isn't. You're probably going to hurt them. I gave my grandmother CPR. She was a brittle diabetic, and I gave her CPR, and I busted up her ribs. She lived another 3-4 years. It's going to happen in a lot of ways. It's going to happen. But I understand why people don't want to do it. I always just tell everybody, if you're smart about it, you look and you go, okay, hold on a second. Somebody's here and they're injured. And is it their head, right? Like, that's the one thing, the head and neck, right? Because you don't want to paralyze somebody. But there is that worry. But but there's so many people get worried about stuff like that. And I just you got to do it, right? Like, wouldn't you? Like, wouldn't you do it? You would think you would do it. If you saw somebody hurt, on the side of the road. Are you going to help or not? Somebody collapses. Are you going to help or not? And so many people don't want to get involved. And I guess I get it. Right? It's sad, but I guess I get it. I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. We're talking about the Toy Hall of Fame. So Jenga didn't make it. Master Universe didn't make it. My Little Pony didn't make it. Nerf Blaster, Risk, the smartphone didn't make it. Matchbox did, as did the coloring book. The coloring book. Now, those two, I thought Matchbox would be in sooner. I was wrong. Coloring book? My son would be like, what's that? It's a coloring book. What did you do with those? We colored. On what? In the book. Like the book would be there and you'd open up, you have crayons. What's a crayon? Oh, turd. Speaking of stuff like that, the list of the most important apps of the decade. So these are the 10 most important apps, not in any way, right? These are the 10 most important things from 2010 to this year. Uber. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. But I think that's more, to me, I look at Uber as more of it's an app because that's really what it is, right? Somebody does you a service, but they do it through the app. Instagram. Absolutely. Tinder. Okay. Snapchat. All right. Pokemon Go. Apple Pay. I don't know about Apple Pay. I don't know if I'd have gone there. Vine. I don't know about that one. Siri. Yeah. Okay. FaceTime. All right. And Candy Crush are the most important apps in this decade. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if I would have gone with that. Uber, yes, because of what it does. Tinder, obviously. Instagram, for sure. Probably the most important one, you would say, right? Would be Tinder out of this. Snapchat. I look at Snapchat and Instagram kind of the same, right? Like Pokemon Go, interesting, but I don't know if it's that most important. Candy Crush, again, I feel like it's a game more than it is an app. Apple Pay, no, because if you don't have an Apple, and so many people don't have Apples. Vine, kind of came and went, didn't it? I mean, it did have 200 million active users at its height, but still, Siri, all right, because it spawned other things. And FaceTime, I don't know. Instagram, to me, would be number one. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Bill Kristol. No, not that guy. Bill Kristol, the conservative, is buying stuff all over the place. This is going to be on Fox. It's very interesting. So he, by the way, is not a fan of Trump. And he's a conservative. You talk about the Republican Party. You know, there's people who are like, I'm a conservative. I'm not a Republican. You know, everybody means, yeah, okay, that's fine. But the reality is you vote Republican. You're not voting conservative.
When Nixon abused the power of the presidency, there were those who defended the president, others defended the Constitution.
Now, I'm a Republican. It isn't easy for me to align myself against the president, but it's impossible for me to condone or ignore the long train of abuses to which he has subjected the presidency and the people of this country.
I make my decision unconscious, with no regard to political gain or loss.
These things have happened in our House. It is we, not the Democrats, who must demonstrate that we are capable of enforcing the high standards we would set for them.
No man, not even the President of the United States, is above the law.
And that's interesting. And I understand what he's trying to do because, look, there is Trump and then there's going to be AT after Trump. Trump's going to go, right? Like there's after Jordan, there's after LeBron, right? He's going to go. And I understand what he's trying to do. Because, yes, you know what? The rule of law, vitally important. I look at the Constitution. We follow the Constitution. Has he done something that I want to hear all of the information as well that warrants that rises to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors? Has he done that? I want to hear everything out completely. I want to see real opportunity for people to be transparent, but also have serious questions asked back. And he needs to have the opportunity for his due process. But if he's done something wrong, absolutely. The problem is you're not going to appeal to people who've been insulted. Because the only way Trump leaves is if 70%, 75% of people, meaning you're going to get 26 to 30% of Republicans and or Trump supporters to go and say to Mitch McConnell and to Lindsey Graham and to all of them, you have to do the right thing to preserve what we are and to preserve our Constitution. You have to. And that's why I say it over and over again. The failure of the Democrats to actually do the thing that they should have done, which was soft selling this thing in a way where you're sympathizing with them and not insulting them, teaming up with them and making it feel like, hey, you know what? You were duped, but you're doing the right thing here for the country. And that's the thing. They didn't do that. Instead, they went and they rabble-roused their base, and they haven't done any of that stuff. And the people they sent out there are as divisive as they say Trump is. You don't win in that thing. You don't. That's a failure. That is zero chance of winning. Zero. Because you're not going to the places where they're watching and saying, look, I don't care if this was a Democrat or Republican. What's done here goes against the Constitution, goes against what we are and who we are. And it's a sad day in our country, and we need to look at this thing seriously. And I expect all Americans, especially people who are Republicans and conservatives and voted for Trump, to look at this thing and say, hey, you didn't want Hillary. And even have some people say, you know what, they were right about that. And we were wrong about that. We felt like she did get away with some stuff and above the law because she ain't playing no games anymore. So might as well get rid of her. Who cares, right? Sacrifice her the way she does everybody else. Do something like that where you sell it to them and they start thinking, yeah, I'm doing my duty. Yeah, I'm doing those things. Instead, they don't do that. And that's what makes me laugh. Because apparently you guys don't understand the way this works. You don't. You don't understand the way that this works. Sometimes in life, you want to get something done, you need to make it seem like the person you want to get that done, it was their idea. And part of the tribalism we have right now is I don't even hear it anymore, right? You used to hear, hey, look, it was a tough race. It was at times an ugly race. It was something that we said things we shouldn't have said. But the reality is we need to get to governing our country. We need to get to leading the way, and we need to do it for everybody. It's time to put away the tribalism and the divisiveness. It's time to come together and realize I'm going to try to work for everybody. It's not always going to be perfect, but I'm going to work for everybody. You don't even hear that now. It's like, yeah, we won. You're like, okay, that didn't work. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Here's something for you guys. This is awesome. We were talking about this earlier. I want everybody who's sitting around, right? You're at work and you're shuffling papers and you're doing whatever you're doing and you're thinking, oh God, if I'd only had done this, and man, I'm going back. A 9-year-old from Belgium, Laurent Simons, has graduated with an electrical engineering degree from Eindhoven University of Technology. A tough course, they say, even for people that are supposed to be in that course based on their age. They describe him simply as extraordinary. He's going to get his PhD in electrical engineering while also studying for a medicine degree. But get ready for this. This is what makes me laugh. He was smarter than everybody else in the class, to the point where he finished his courses faster than all the other students. He had to get special permission to do that. He had to adjust his schedule for that. He's being sought out by universities across the globe to come do his PhD work there. And he says what he wants to do is he's getting ready to go to Japan. He's already worked, by the way, and he knows what he wants to do. He wants to develop artificial organs. He's 9. What were you doing at 9? Just curious. I know what I was doing. Not that. I was pissed off at recess, probably because I didn't win. Tetherball. Yeah, ask your kids about tetherball. What's tetherball? Because they can't play that now because kids can get hurt. We're playing ghost ball. What's that? It's imaginary. So no one gets hurt. Nobody scores points. And everybody gets a trophy. Oh, it sounds like fun. Can't wait. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens. Great organization. They're out there fighting for you. Common sense immigration reform, fighting for you. Big time. It's amazing what they do, but it's also all of the benefits they have, right? Like, so they're going out there and they're talking to all the politicians saying, hey, look, it's Social Security. We know it's going insolvent. What are you guys really doing about it? People are paying into it and they're not going to get it, right? What are you going to do about Medicare, right? Again, heading to a place of destruction. What are you guys doing to it? And of course, you guys do nothing with immigration. How about that? But they're also giving you benefits like you could not believe. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, discounts for insurance. You name it, they've got it. As well as amusement park, half off movie price tickets. It's amazing. So right now is your chance to join. It's absolutely free. It's on me. It's 1 year. Go to amac.us/chat or call 888-355-1617. 888-355-1617. That's amac.us/chat. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
When it came to releasing his taxes before the election, the president said,
I'd love to give them.
And during the debates,
I will absolutely give my return, but I'm being audited now.
And after he won the election,
because frankly, the people don't care.
But House Democrats do care, and they have won several lawsuits saying the president must hand over those returns. Now Donald Trump's lawyers are asking the Supreme Court to decide.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. Do you care? I don't really care. My contention has always been he's not as rich as he claims to be. I think he's worth $1 billion. I don't think he's worth 3, 4, or 5. He doesn't have Bloomberg money. But it doesn't bother. I don't care if any of them release any of their tax returns. It means I'm more concerned with health. We're just talking about like some of the polls that are out there. And while Biden has the lead, and again, polls are polls, and we've got such a long way to go. And the reality is I worry about Biden for the stamina of it all. I don't know if he's got the go for it. You got this. I don't think he does. I don't. I think Biden is. Think about. What's Biden look like in 3 years? Going through the pressure, right? Like you're not vice president anymore, right? You're not opening up supermarkets with the big thing and cutting it and stuff. Chad, that's not very nice. They have a serious job to do. Yeah, okay. But what's that look like? You know, I'm more worried about, are they healthy? Right? I'm not worried about Tulsi Gabbard. Anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. I mean, Bernie Sanders may live to be 400 years old with our horrible medicine here in this country. And he'll still be running, still be trying to make billionaires pay and all of that stuff. But I think it's a fair question. I'm more worried about the health, especially of some of the older candidates. You saw what happened to Bernie, and Bernie isn't the one I was worried about because I'm out there doing my thing, screaming and yelling at people. I was more worried about other things. I don't really care about your taxes. But it shows you that they're just coming as hard as they can for anything. Man, they are just, we're going to get you. We're coming to get you. We're going to get you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I want you guys to pay attention. Not only crime doesn't pay, but stupid is strong in America.
Paramedic is accused of cutting a diamond ring off a dead woman's finger at a hospital and then selling it to a pawn shop.
Okay, now, first of all, horrible human being. Horrible human being for doing that, right? But on top of horrible, stupid will rise through this. Wait till you hear.
For $45.
$45. Cut a ring off of a human being that has died. So automatically, horrible person, right? And you're a paramedic, so this isn't good. Secondly, you sold it to a pawn shop for
$45. The Sentinel record reports an older woman had a medical emergency, was taken to a Hot Springs hospital where she was later pronounced dead. When her husband and sister received her personal items, they noticed 3 of her rings were missing. 2 of the rings were later found, and the third, a 1.7 carat diamond ring.
So $45, 1.7 carat diamond rings, pawn shop. Pawn shop guy's like, moron.
Was found at a pawn shop with a band cut. The victim's husband had the ring appraised after getting it back, and it's valued at nearly $8,000.
What do you say? Not only are you an awful person, to boot, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You tweet at me. Happy Thursday, Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
High crimes and misdemeanors in the Constitution aren't laid out like the penal code. They aren't laid out in terms of specific statutes. But a president trying to get help from a foreign country against his political rivals here is not only wrong, it's not only criminal, it is definitely impeachable conduct, and they admit that. And so how are we going to proceed as a country toward deciding whether or not he gets impeached and removed from office? Well, we saw day one of that effort today, and they are calmly elucidating the facts. And I think it is actually going to be a useful thing for the country. I think this is going to be a sort of a, I don't think this is going to be a divisive thing. I think this is going to get people on the same page.
Now, I don't have anything against Rachel Maddow. She's a very, 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 very bright woman. Like, uber smart. Like, when you talk about, like, people that, like, she is really, really smart. I don't have to like her politics. She was educated at Stanford, Oxford, right? Like, this is a bright woman. But you have missed it all if you honestly think, right? You, who's a Rhodes Scholar, right? You're a Rhodes Scholar. You got a Marshall Scholarship, which is huge, right? You've got a doctor of philosophy, which is maybe why. I mean, you are uber bright. And if you think for a second that this is going to unite the country, you are so wrong. Because everybody knows how the coastal elites, as far as they're concerned, is what they think of you. Because you kind of, you know what? You kind of come across that way. Everybody knows how you feel about them. And while it may not be you, the reality is for the last 3.5 years, you've banged on Trump. You've banged on everybody who supports Trump, from calling them racist, right, to deplorables, to the guy before that who called them, hey, what, they're clinging to gods and guns. And if you think for a second that they're going to go, hey, yeah, you're right, you got this right, so yeah, we should all come together. You're right. You're so wrong. Even if the right thing to do, and I want to see everything. I tell everybody, I want to see the whole thing. I want to see it all out there. I want to see everything. And if yesterday was the best that you got, Get ready for an election next year. If that was the best you got. I still think something's coming that we don't see coming, and I've been calling it for a while. And that is?
The whole half of this story that has not been told to the American people is what the heck Rudy Giuliani was doing in Ukraine, because I can only imagine the conversations that he had. And remember, the firing of Ambassador Yovanovitch had as much to do with Rudy Giuliani.
He was the elephant in the room because he kept coming up, and very interestingly, the GOP kept staying away from him, but he was the elephant in the room.
Yeah, he was. I talked to Debbie Lesko last night. It's a congresswoman. Said, I think he's got a Rudy problem. She totally steered away from it, right? She did. At least Congressman Schweikert had said, yeah, he's got a problem. He needs to go away. Somebody needs to muzzle that guy, essentially. That was a while ago, before this stuff even started to come out more and more and more and more and more. But if you think people are going to come together after they felt like they've been insulted, called everything from stupid to small-minded to bigoted to full of hate to racist to all of these things, and give in some ways, you're wrong. You were so wrong. It ain't happening. It isn't. Now, do I think there could be some more that comes down the road where calmer, cooler heads prevail and enough people say, okay, we've had enough of this. This guy has really stomped on the Constitution. And yesterday, I thought both of those guys yesterday, they handled themselves well. I don't think either of them were liars. In saying that, do I think it rises to the place where we're going to remove him? No. Do I think it would be worse for the country? Yes. But I think where there may be a surprise isn't any of the people that are scheduled to talk. It's the 3 or 4 people that have been surrounding and seem to be very nefarious in who they are, and this Lev Parnas guy and a couple others that have worked with Rudy Giuliani. Because it feels like Trump's he's ready to throw Rudy under the bus with a sword that Rudy seems like he's gladly willing to fall on. And in doing all of that, though, he at least acknowledges Rudy, right? These other guys, they said they met with him 10 times plus. And what have they got for it? I don't know these guys. Never seen it before. Well, you start doing that, guess what? Hey, I got something to say. That's the thing I would worry about. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I worry more about that, the thing you don't know about, the thing that even the Democrats don't potentially know about, than other stuff. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Shooting today in Saugus High School, which is in Santa Clarita, just north of Los Angeles. 2 people are dead. Asking the question again, what happened? Was there any signs?
Well, the motive remains unknown. Sources are telling ABC News that law enforcement is investigating at least one online post believed to be from the suspected shooter, which suggested something was going to happen at the school. They're looking into his social media accounts to figure out if there is anything else. Detectives say the 16-year-old boy showed up here at Saugus High School, pulled a .45 caliber handgun from his backpack, and started shooting his classmates.
Yeah, and apparently he turned 16 today, and 2 are dead. He shot himself in the head, and he is in critical conditions, but he is still alive. So it is it's a horrible situation, and the politics involved, because there's politics involved in everything. We're at that place where I think everybody knows politics that's what happens. Politics. What are you doing? Politics. How's it going to go? It's politics. Right? Raising money off of it. Trump, I will say this. Every single day that these hearings go on, cha-ching. Cha-ching. I mean, huge money. And they all like raising money. They do. Right? Trump gets it. Trump understands what it's about raising that money. I'm sure he got a ton. And by the way, you go and look at what the Democrats have in their banks, if you will, and what they're going to have once they get through this and somebody's established as the person that will be running. if they're running against Trump, well, it doesn't even matter at this point in time. The amount of cash they have in their war chest, the Republicans, in the billion plus already. So that's huge. Huge. I mean, massive amounts of money. And every day that these things go on, every single day, boom, 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 in. And same thing with the Democrats. Just like today, I guarantee you there'll be emails going out talking about how they have to take on the NRA, and the only way to do it is if you give them $5. It's the only way they can do it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Toy Hall of Fame. All right, so we're breaking it down. Stuff that didn't get in, Jenga. Is that the one where you, like, it's like a puzzle that goes up into, like, the Leaning Tower of Pisa and you have to pull stuff apart and then it falls? Is that what that is? All right, I have no idea. I've not played that game. Masters of the Universe did not make it. My Little Pony did not. Do you think My Little Pony? Yeah. Do you think it didn't make it because it kind of has become weird?
What are you trying to say?
Well, here's the thing. It has to. Okay, so to get into the Toy Hall of Fame, innovative, wildly recognized. Let's be real. Okay, Jenga. Okay, Masters of the Universe. Yeah, Fisher Price, a corn pop. Everybody who's ever had a child or been a child has had a corn popper. Care Bears. But My Little Pony is recognized all over the place because were they bronies? Brodies?
Bronies unite, baby.
Bronies unite. There we go. Are you a brony, Phil?
I am not.
And then Risk and the smartphone. So, and the top did not make it. Who did make it? Matchbox, which I thought would have been in their coloring book. But the one that I was surprised that made it into the National Toy Hall of Fame, Magic the Gathering, which I will tell you, I have never, ever, ever played. It's a card game? Is it kind of like Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm not really familiar with it.
So, no, I'm not familiar with it either. I mean, I would assume it's like, and somebody's going to send me, no, let me tell you what it is. And I'm like, okay, settle down. I've never played it, and I never will. I don't play games. Not good at them. We all know my story with the horrible, when I got the video game and I couldn't get the guy to move, and it just kept saying, come on, Cole, come on, Cole. And that's all it did, man. Come on, Cole. I'm like, sir. So frustrated. Took it back the next day. I got a Christmas present. That's what I wanted because I love Westerns. And I got this thing that was awesome. And all that was in my ear for like an hour because I couldn't get the damn guy to move anywhere to even get into the point where we could start playing the game was Chris Christopherson saying, come on, Cole. Guess what? Cole didn't go anywhere until the next day when he went back to the store. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Oh, man. Super Beats. Take him every day. Went out, worked out today. What did I do? Took my Super Beats right before I worked out. Convenient because they've got the soft chews. Potent heart health, man. That's what it helps you with. Benefits of Super Beats are amazing. So, first and foremost, beets are great for your heart, for circulation, for energy. But the amount of beets you'd have to eat to really get the benefits the way is insane. That's where Super Beets comes in, right? And the soft chews are great. Couple soft chews, away you go. The soft chews now have grapeseed extract, which comes from the Loire Valley in France. And this is great. It's been shown clinically to support healthy blood pressure levels. It's great for natural energy in your body, circulation, and support blood pressure, normal blood pressure. So now's your chance to act. Get yourself some Super Beets. Try these things. You're going to love them. You buy 2 bags, they throw a third one in for free. Go to superbeatsradio.com/Chad. 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 Guess what? Trending straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Lots of stuff. Let's start with Google. unicorn puppy, Narwhal, trending. If you've not seen him, cute little dog, but has a tail right in the center of his forehead. That is trending. Here's something that's trending that you should check out. Ford versus Ferrari opens tonight, but it opens everywhere tomorrow. They'll have 1 or 2 showings tonight, but it looks amazing, and it just looks awesome. You've got this guy called Matt Damon, a guy called Christian Bale. They seem to really bring this thing to life, and it's based on essentially Shelby, the great Shelby, who puts together a car to compete at Le Mans for Ford. And it is, everybody says it's seen it, just is raving about it. Motorola's got a new Razr out, $1,500. Got to be honest with you. No, not buying the Razr for $1,500. Not doing it. Over here in the magical world of Twitter, gun control, trending big time. NRA are terrorists, of course. The shooting at Saugus today is trending. And also Taylor Swift, because apparently she's got some issues. Yeah, she's got some issues. So she's being honored at the American Music Awards, but she doesn't own her songs. And I guess they're not going to let her perform some of her songs because she doesn't own them. And the battle is on. And here's the thing. She screams all day long about stuff like this. Look at me. She's always a victim. You ever notice she's always a victim? But you sold your songs. You had a chance to buy them back. You said no. You didn't want to pay for them, right? It's not like you're starving. Your dad profited big time off of them. Stop playing the victim, all right? What do you think she's worth, Phil? Took a wild guess.
10 million?
No, really. What do you think she's worth? You think she's worth 10?
Sure, that's a.
I say she's worth 500. I'm going to go with that. Let's take a guess. Sorry, she's only worth 360. You're not a victim. You're not a victim. Not a victim. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Get over it. They're not going to let me perform my music. Well, you don't own it anymore, right? So if that's what they're saying, then that's it. And I'm sure there's more to it, which we'll never hear their side because automatically these guys are bad, horrible persons and all of this stuff. What they're saying that, look, if she does these, essentially she's going to be re-recording them, which she's not allowed to do until next year. So, but you're just screaming, they're honoring me, and I'm a victim. You're not a victim. You're annoying. You are. I got to be honest with you. At this point in time, you're annoying. Just get over it. You just, God. I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear how sad your life is. I want to hear how, you go out with a guy and somehow have you ever noticed that she's gone out with all of these guys and all of them are just the worst people on earth? Maybe they should get a cut of all this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Waiting for Taylor, because you'll get a Taylor fan that'll attack me. Somebody just tweeted at me and said I should stop being mean to Rudy Giuliani because he's a genuine hero. He was great getting them through 9/11 in New York and everything, but somewhere along the line he's lost the plot. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The next witness to testify publicly is Marie Yovanovitch, who was ousted as U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. She has spoken of a concerted campaign against her as President Trump's personal attorney Rudy Giuliani pushed the Ukrainians to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden. Democrats have called Yovanovitch the first victim of an irregular policymaking channel. Republicans have said the president has a right to pick his team.
Yeah, he does. He has the right to pick his team, and I don't think anybody would doubt that. I mean, the average person, if you get hired today to go work somewhere, right? So they say, hey, you're going to be the manager of this group of people, and you go in and you're going to look around, and what are you going to do? You see it in sports all the time. GM comes in, what's the first thing he does? Or she usually brings in their own coach and their staff. They want their people around that they know, they work with, that they feel, hey, these people are going to do the job that I need them to do. That happens a lot, not always, and you're not going to change everybody. There's a lot of people still working from, yesterday you were listening to these guys talk, that George Kent and Bill Taylor, they work through many administrations. You're not firing everybody, but in certain positions you think, hey, I can pick a team. The problem is all that's gone on there and the Rudy problem, which I continue to say is a problem.
The whole half of this story that has not been told to the American people is what the heck Rudy Giuliani was doing in Ukraine, because I can only imagine the conversations that he had. And remember, the firing of Ambassador Yovanovitch had as much to do with Rudy Giuliani.
He was the elephant in the room because he kept coming up, and very interestingly, the GOP kept staying away from him, but he was the elephant in the room.
Yeah. I asked Debbie Lesko last night, Congresswoman, I said, hey, what's the deal? I said, you guys can't pretend. And she skirted around the issue. Well, I don't know. That's between Rudy and him. No. Again, there's an issue here. And it's not, if I'm Trump, am I really worried about, like yesterday, everyone's like, the bomb. There was no bombshell. We already thought these things, right? So there's not really bombshell. I'm not worried about Maria. Yovanovitch tomorrow could be a little uncomfortable for the average person watching, to find out what's going on. But it's going to be the Rudy thing again. And then you're going to have Sondland next week. And then a lot of people that you have no idea who they are. Fiona Hill, Fiona Apple would be hilarious if they called her. I don't know why I'm here. Somebody would be like, you need to eat. But Rudy is the issue. And Rudy's cast of characters, his nefarious cast of characters, is also a serious issue that needs to be dealt with. If I'm Trump, I'm more worried about them than the other people that are coming up here. I'm more worried about those people, right? Because those are the people right there that could get you in serious trouble. And I think I want to find out what Rudy does, because I think Rudy's going to be in trouble. I think Rudy's going to be the one that's going to fall on the sword with a little help from his friends. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Do you guys remember this whole thing that went on with, like, there's a wall supposedly being built, but then it wasn't being built, that it could be built. We're not quite sure if there's going to be a wall built, and there's fighting over this. And then you've got DACAs in the courts, and then everything's like, oh my God, immigration, we got to do this. And then, of course, chance to get, Trump out. Everybody's like, ooh, look, shiny object. And everybody turned. Remember that? Well, stuff's still going on there. And they're still talking about stuff because stuff hasn't happened the way it should.
Not a single piece of meaningful legislation has been brought forward. And as a result, this country stood by and watched as the crisis worsened.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. He's Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. That's Mark Morgan right there. And he's a little bit perturbed by all of this stuff. Because it became something big when it could be used politically, right? Like, that was just it. It wasn't let's solve things. It was let's damage the White House. Let's destroy Trump. Let's talk about the evil that Trump is and, and all that stuff. But we're not going to really do anything because, well, we don't want to do anything because why would we want to give up the opportunity to get anything done? So we'll just kind of ignore it, right? And we'll go from there. But let's remember how big this was.
Not a single piece of meaningful legislation has been brought forward. And as a result, this country stood by and watched as the crisis worsened. As we reached our peak in May of over 140,000 apprehensions in a single month.
140,000 apprehensions. How many people got through? Right? Then Trump and Mexico talked about closing the border. All this stuff started to happen. It started, it got hotter, and slowly but surely things started to at least semi-slow down.
We have initiated a network of initiatives, policies, and regulations to stem the flow of the migration. Together, we are approaching this as the regional crisis that it is.
And it's regional, and that's also one of the things. Right? You're in Arizona, you're in New Mexico, right? Texas, California. You're dealing with it in a much different way throughout the Southwest. But I think it's a fair question. It's like, God, this thing went completely, quiet. Why? Because there was a shinier thing over here, right? Summer break for them, right? They had a little summer recess, went back and did their thing. Then all of a sudden you got some Ukrainian thing, which may be the opportunity to take down Trump. So let's hyper focus on that. And we'll forget about the kids in cages, because once they started sorting that out, where they threw a bunch of money and started getting away from certain things and adding beds and doing certain things like that, then they stopped the process of automatic separation and whatnot. Once that started to happen, and the other thing is, when you're hearing 140,000 people coming here, you start asking the question. It's like, well, okay, I know you guys over here on the Democratic side, you don't want to do anything, but shouldn't you kind of do something, right? Like, because we can't. That's 140,000 were apprehended. Let's just say half as many got through that we don't know about. You're heading towards that 200,000 mark. That's a worrisome figure there. So maybe you guys can do something? No. Still nothing. Still nothing. When I was talking to Congressman Lesko yesterday, she says, nothing is getting done. And I talked the night before to Congressman David Schweikert, said the same thing. He was talking about the fact that you guys do realize that we're heading towards a situation where, this whole budget thing is going to come up again. But it's okay. Whatever. You guys continue to talk strictly about this. And she said the exact same thing inside meetings yesterday, talking about real ID. Now, most Americans don't have the real ID. So getting on an airplane is going to be very interesting if you don't have your real ID. Oh, yeah. Didn't even think about that. She said, what is everybody talking about, though? Part of Homeland Security no, right? You go to any of these committee meetings to discuss certain things, and all that people are really talking about or focusing on is this. So no meaningful legislation's getting done. Discussions aren't even getting done the way they should be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I love hearing from every single one of you. I try to get back to all of you as best that I possibly can. But I want to remind everybody again, okay? I just want to remind you guys. When you start with an insult, the conversation's no fun. Right? When you start with an insult, like you come and you're like, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insult somebody. And then I'll tell them why they're wrong. That's not the way. Don't do that. Right? Like, if you want to have a conversation, let's do it. But let's have a conversation. That's all I'm saying.
The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office tweeting out to avoid using public USB charging stations at airports and other locations. The concern? The growing juice jacking scam.
Criminals load malware onto charging stations or cables they leave at the kiosk. Once the unsuspecting user plugs in, their phone or electronic device becomes infected.
That malware could send passwords, addresses, or a full backup of the phone to the criminal.
You can't do anything anymore. You cannot do anything. You can't plug your phone in. You can't go outside. Your best bet is to take your phone, break it into bits and pieces, find a doctor who only keeps paper records, drives around in like Doc Adams used to in like Gunsmoke, right? In a buggy with a horse. Because if they want it, it's not if, but when. Know that with your private information. Know that with everything. It's not if, but when your stuff's going to get hacked or stolen. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is a Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. ZipRecruiter. Amazing. Hiring. Frustrating. Talk to employers all the time because I'm one. And it's frustrating. It really, really is. Cafe Altura COO Dylan Miskowitz. Right? So what did he do? He needed a director of coffee for his organic coffee company. Couldn't find anybody. Tough finding applicants. So he switched. He went to ZipRecruiter. Guess what? They don't depend on the candidates finding you. It finds them. It's technology. Incredible. Identifies people with the right experience, invites them to apply to your job. So what happens? You get a qualified candidate fast. Dylan posted his job on ZipRecruiter, said he was super impressed with how quickly candidates applied. He also used ZipRecruiter candidate rating feature to filter his applicants so he could focus on the more relevant ones. And that's how he found his new director of coffee in just a few days. With results like that, it's no wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a qualified quality candidate through the site within the first day. See why ZipRecruiter is effective for businesses of all sizes. Try ZipRecruiter right now for free at this exclusive address. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Benson, ZipRecruiter.com/BENSON, ZipRecruiter.com/Benson. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
In September, the president predicted that by the 2020 election,
we think we're going to have close to 500 miles of wall.
But the president's acting Customs and Border Protection head, Mark Morgan, now says they have built no new wall, only replaced what's broken.
The 78 miles that have been built where there was an existing form of barrier.
It is unclear how the president can build 500 more miles without congressional funding.
Yeah, he's not going to get it. But what may help him is what takes place in the courts. SCOTUS, DACA. Remember, he wanted and was willing to offer more people to be under DACA if he could get some funding for the wall, and they poo-pooed that. Well, if SCOTUS comes back and says, you know what, Trump has every right to do this. Let's flash forward 7-8 months. June of next year, Trump survives impeachment. Looks like he's going to. Again, never know what's going to happen, but this is just alternative universe. DACA is shot down. And so now the worry is these kids have no protection. Young adults have no protection. They could be essentially in trouble and gone. Then you ask yourself, what do you do? Well, guess what? If you are the Democrats, you say to yourself, we can play it two ways. We can get out there, we can try to get something done, but we're a few months away, and you take the temperature of the country. And if the country feels like, hey, he's probably going to win this thing again, you got to start saying to yourself, do we want to take that chance or not? We hold off. Because here's the thing. You hold off. You don't give him the opportunity to build his wall, which everything was built upon in so many ways. He did a lot of other stuff and talked about a lot of other stuff. And let's be real, the wall was it. What happens then? And if he wins again, he could make it miserable. Remember when I said I was going to give you 1.4, 1.5, 1.8? I'm going to give you 500,000. Well, we want that again? No, you're going to get 500,000. You had every opportunity to come to the table. You'd have every opportunity to do all of these things. You've tried in every way, shape, or form to get rid of me, and it has failed. And now, I get to be the decider. We're going to give you 500,000. Take it or leave it. Clock's ticking. We're not going to take it. Fine, 400,000. Who knows what it'll do? You know it's Trump. Come on now. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from every single one of you. Guess what, kids? Find this interesting. I think all of us should. If you're going to be traveling, understand what's going on and the travel, what it looks like out there, the amount of people that are going to be out there. But know this, with all of that happening, right, with all of this travel, you guys do realize that the real ID, and I was talking to Congressman Lesko last night. So if you don't know what the real ID is, the real ID is the ID you're going to need to fly. Okay? Do you understand that? Your ID is no longer going to be it. October 1st, 2020. If you do not have this, you can't fly. All right? It's a federally approved form of identification, just like a passport or military ID. And I don't know how many people don't even understand that. So you have less than a year to get this, right? So if you don't think about it because you don't fly a lot or you don't travel a lot, do some of these things, you don't get this thing, you're going to be surprised. And there will be people next year who will be like, oh my God, I couldn't see that coming. But you better get your real ID. And most people just kind of forget about things. That's why I was talking to Debbie Lesko yesterday. And she just said, Congressman Lesko said, so many people, they don't think about it. They just put it off. But on top of all of that, we're not doing a good enough job to get out there. Because why? Because everything is about impeachment. And it's continuing to be about impeachment. And I just like the fact that I know there's going to be people out there that don't have the real ID. Some states may not even be prepared for some of this stuff. I know there's been trouble there. But do you guys have any idea? We'll talk about it more in depth about it. But yeah, you need to understand that if you don't get this, and I travel enough that I know I had to take care of things, but a lot of people aren't going to. They're going to forget about it. They'll put it off, or they just don't even know or care. Well, I don't fly that much. I don't do that much. And it'll be a shock to people. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Oh, man, holidays approaching big time. You want to save some extra cash? I know you do. Well, you've got a better way of doing it than trying to, I don't know, hope and pray, play some lottery, recycle. How about this? Credit card consolidation loan with Lightstream. You can get rid of those high interest rates. You know, on average, 20% is what the average person is paying on credit card interest. Don't be that person. You can get rates as low as 5.95% APR with AutoPay. Rates don't budge. There's no fees. You can even get your money as early as the same day. And just for being my listener, are you ready for this? You can get a special interest rate discount. It is that simple. This is what I want you to do. Go to lightstream.com/Benson. That's lightstream.com/Benson. When you do, simple and easy. You can even do all the application right there on the phone. Find out how easy it is. They will save you money big time and treat you right. Subject to credit approval, rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offers subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Impeachment, it's much more tribal today. I mean, these hearings today are going to be much more like the O.J. trial, the great trial at the end of the 20th century, where people took sides very quickly. It wasn't so much about the facts, it's about your perspective, your history as a human being in this country.
Yeah. Nobody cares about the facts. New poll out right now. AP, NORC, USA Facts. Americans struggle to ID true facts. It's not about the facts. This isn't about the facts. It's exact the opposite. This is all about politics and selling that your side isn't as bad as the other side. So, alas, that's why this person has to go. Well, Chad, Trump did stuff that was wrong. Yeah, he did. He did stuff that I didn't like. I think a lot of people, if you're honest with yourself, you're like, yeah, that's not right. Well, what about, what Biden did? I don't care what Biden did. But you should. No, because what Biden did, you take it and you run with it, and it's out of context. You don't even understand. That guy was fired months afterwards. Months afterwards. The Republicans wanted him fired. Everybody else wanted him fired. It wasn't like just Biden walked in there and said, hey, get rid of it. No. They act like that, but come on. But you know what's funny? So I was talking to a bunch of people yesterday watching this just thing. Because it was very dry. As I'm watching this entire thing, it's dawning on me more and more. Our shock value is our threshold for being like, oh my God, it's way up here. Right? 30 years ago, But now, if you go on social media, to get anybody's attention for anything, you have to be loud and scream and yell, and you have to say the most obnoxious, outrageous things. Our shock value is also a part of this. We're not shocked anymore. We're not. We're not shocked anymore at all. To get people to move, you can get emotional about Trump, and people do, but most people, they're not. They're not moved enough from their positions, from where we started yesterday, a week ago, the week before that, the month before that, 2 months before that, 5. No, it's not. It's not happening. So what do we have? We have what we have. We have a president that isn't going to go anywhere. Their big play was yesterday of the people that they have scheduled. It started there. And while they can all run around and celebrate like they did a great thing, something I've been saying over and over again, and hey, our buddy Chris Matthews echoed it.
You're going to have the Republicans shifting against the guilt or innocence of the defendant here, the president, to the guilt or innocence of the deep state, of the Democrats, of the media. They're going to do everything they can to shift the question to, do you like liberal Democrats? Do you like Adam Schiff? Do you like Maxine Waters?
No.
Do you like any of these people?
No.
Do you like AOC?
Nah.
They're going to shift the attention and the question away from the guilt or innocence of the president to, do you like these people you're watching in these hearings? Do you like these Democrats? I think that's where we're going to end up at the end of the day.
Yeah. And it's going to work. It's going to work. Because no, they don't. That's the tribalism. No, they don't. Because everything now, not only do people take it personal, it becomes personal, right? And it got really personal through the 2016 election, and I go back to that. And when she called people deplorables, and before that it was clinging to God and guns, little things along the way have made people think, hey, this is why Trump has their support, and it's an unwavering support. You think we're all stupid. You think we're all idiots. That's what the people in the middle of the country think, people who vote for Trump. They think all of these elitists. I mean, you have a guy at Berkeley who's an instructor, right, a professor, who calls people in the rural areas essentially morons, right? He's a philosophy, by the way. He teaches philosophy. So that's all you really need to know, right? He labeled people in rural areas bad people who've made bad life decisions, and we should shame people who aren't pro-city, saying they should have to pay for health care that's higher, pay more in taxes. They should be forced to live an uncomfortable life for rejecting efficient city life. And that's the way that they see this. It's us versus them. You've made it you've made it a cultural battle, and you made it personal, right? With Nixon, it was different. People voted for him, but they weren't personally invested in them because they weren't. You didn't insult them. Not saying there wasn't fights, not saying there wasn't a few things here and there. Obviously, that's anywhere. But the way it is now, my goodness. You wonder why they dig in? That's why I said all day yesterday, listen, you got the wrong guy selling this thing, and the way you're going about it, if your goal is to, for all intents and purposes, get the people who voted for Trump on your side to see that he has done something here that isn't good, that does rise to the level where he should be removed. Getting your base riled up isn't going to do it. How many people have worked with people or know people that you know what? Hey, if we're going to get somebody to, if we need this person to do this, we need to almost make it seem like it's their idea. Right? You didn't do that? You insult them. You insult them. And so you get people that dig in, right? And it's funny, Rachel Maddow, who, by the way, Rachel's, I know a lot of people don't understand this. She is brilliant. She's uber smart, like ridiculously smart. But she misses this whole thing here. She misses the ball completely. Why? Because she also lives in that area of New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, city folk who think everybody outside of there just aren't as smart as them and that they've got the pulse because they've surrounded themselves with groupthink.
High crimes and misdemeanors in the Constitution aren't laid out like the penal code. They aren't laid out in terms of specific statutes. But a president trying to get help from a foreign country against his political rivals here is not only wrong, it's not only criminal, it is definitely impeachable conduct, and they admit that. And so how are we going to proceed as a country toward deciding whether or not he gets impeached and removed from office? Well, we saw day one of that effort today, and they are calmly elucidating the facts. And I think it is actually going to be a useful thing for the country. I think this is going to be a sort of I don't think this is going to be a divisive thing. I think this is going to get people on the same page.
No, it's not. It's not. Because since the moment he was elected, it became us versus them. And you wonder why they love him and they stand by him, because he is he's their whipping stick. He'll look at the elitists and say, you guys suck. You're full of crap. You know how I know? Because I used to hang out with you. I know how you feel and think about these people. I know exactly what you guys are thinking from top to bottom and how you feel about these people. Us versus them. Us versus them. That's the way that they put it out there, and it started with clinging to God and guns, and then it got to the point where they were called deplorables, and now here we are. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. We're not going to unite. I think the uniting thing is gone. We unite in tragedy, right? When there's no politics involved. That's when we unite, right? We can unite when we see an animal that's injured and there's no politics involved. We can unite in certain things that we look and say we need to defeat cancer. We can unite in those things. You know what we don't unite? When it's anything other than that. That's when we don't unite. When it's anything other than that, we're like, nope. And at this point in time, even if there's a massive natural disaster, the fighting begins. On whose fault it was. Was it the climate's fault? Was it the Earth's fault? Because it's mad at us. Because, I mean, we can't even get to that point anymore. We can unite on certain things that we should be uniting on. Today, what's going on? Shooting, Southern California. Watch the way this is handled. Saugus High School, kid. One person is dead. Apparently there's a suspect in custody. He was reported killed or he took his own life. But let's see how this whole thing's handled, how it breaks itself down. Because if there's nothing there that people can pitch in certain parts that will make a statement politically, it'll slowly but surely go away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. Been working with them for a while. Man, I love the stuff they do. I do. What Ernesto and everybody does over there is just, it is so amazing. After being at the Veterans Day Parade this week and seeing the veterans with their service dogs and stuff, you just get a sense of what it does for the men and women who serve our country and how they struggled. when they come home, they're injured, they suffer from PTSD. On top of that, our first responders and their families as well. And what they do is they unite our furry best friends with our nation's heroes. So they rescue dogs who would otherwise be essentially euthanized, train them, take them from shelter dogs to service dogs, and then get them to our veterans, our first responders, and their families. But they need your help. Take action today. Turn your extra car, truck, RV, even a boat into a vehicle for change. If it flies or floats, they'll take it. You're going to be saving a paw to save a life, which is their motto. They also take cash donations. Go to woundedpawproject.org or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. Check everything out. You'll be impressed at what they do because it truly is amazing. Woundedpawproject.org. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
If the airlines are right, it could be the busiest air travel ever the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And TSA is gearing up for a very busy season. They expect to set records this year. In fact, they're saying travel should be up 4% over the Thanksgiving holiday season. That's nearly 27 million of us flying.
That's a lot of people. I've often wondered, it's like, why don't you leave on a Monday, right? It's like, is it easier? Right? Take an extra day? Not fight with people? I don't travel during the holidays. It's the whole people thing. It's just too much. It's like, go and play. I'm the get off the line. I was always like that. People are like, is it because you're getting older and you don't like? No, it's like, I was like that when I was a kid. It's like, I was talking the other day about the parking, because we went to the big, I hosted a portion of the big Veterans Day parade here in Phoenix, and we were there, and I was going with Becky Lynn, and Becky and I were talking, and she's just like, it's parking. I said, you know what? Parking's always been that way for me. Like, I would go to a game, right? Sporting event, and I'm like, oh God, parking. Do you want to know, do you honestly want to know how bad it was? I had tickets to the World Cup final, and I had a game that day as well. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with the parking. I don't want to get stuck there for 4 hours. I just don't. I'll watch it on TV. I'm glad I did because the game was awful. I went to the semifinals, and I was like, oh, good God. Yeah, that's me. Not a parking guy, not too many people guy, and the airport's one of those things. There's just certain things that I dread, and that is one of them. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from every single one of you. Yesterday wasn't really, like, uber exciting. I think it peaked. I think Sondland may be interesting. Yovanovitch tomorrow may be okay. The rest of them are a bunch of no-names, even more so than these people were and will be. So my contention is, if I'm Trump or any of the people that would be worried that there could be real dirt that would give pause for concern for some people in the Republican Party, it is Rudy Giuliani and his cast of characters who are in jail, who are very much cast of character-y. That, to me, is where I say, I would worry more so than any of these other people that are going to testify on things that we already pretty much know about. And Trump was asked about, the whole thing yesterday.
I'm too busy to watch it. It's a witch hunt. It's a hoax. I'm too busy to watch it. So I'm sure I'll get a report. There's nothing. I have not been briefed, no. There's nothing there. I see they're using lawyers that are television lawyers. They took some guys off television. I'm not surprised to see it because Schiff can't do his own questions.
Schiff can't do it because he's shifty. So, 81%, according to Axios, have already made up their mind. I threw a poll out there, non-scientific, of course, plus minus a billion%, because it's not scientific. What do you think? According to a new poll, 81% of Americans have already made up their minds on impeachment of Trump. Where are you in the subject? 20%, he's guilty. 51% innocent. 5% undecided. 25% don't care. And I think there's a lot of that out there. There is a growing contingent of people who are at the point where they may not trust the president. They also don't trust the Democrats. They're not saying he didn't do something, but they're also not saying they can trust you to give a straight answer in any of this. So you look over there and you're like, it may be true, it may not be true, but at this point in time, I can't tell who's lying and who's not lying, and I'd just rather say both of you are guilty of that, so I can't trust anything anybody says, so we've got an election next year. Why don't we just let the people sort this out? Oh, yeah, we could do that, I guess. Take the poll, at Chad Benson Show. You can tweet at me as well. Text the program 323-538-2423. That is a text line. When you call me and leave a voicemail and you insult me about how stupid I am, realize you've already failed the first exam. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I was talking to a parent who said that he was getting phone calls and texts from his son inside. His son saying that he was at zero period. He saw the shooter pull out a gun. He was so close that his ears were ringing afterwards. They have since been locked down inside a classroom with a firefighter, he and 7 other students, waiting for the sheriff's department to come in and say that they can come out.
Yeah, so what we know so far, shooting, Saugus, California, Santa Clarita, just a little bit north of Los Angeles, kind of a bedroom community. And one person is confirmed dead. A few others are injured. And it looks and sounds like, again, always fluid throughout these things, that the person is in custody, is alive. And now now what? Why? Why'd you do this? What happened? And you're not going to find that out probably anytime soon because usually you don't. It takes a little while. You'll probably hear conflicting stories. You'll get all kinds of things that are popping out. It's because of this, because of that. Everybody's going to be running, trying to find, let's see, his social media. Was there any kind of warning? Was this person even a person that goes to that school? And it goes from there. And then you'll hear more and more stuff. It's no wonder people have a tough time. This new poll that's out, this AP, NORC, USA Facts poll that says Americans struggle to ID true facts. I think most Americans want facts. They want affirmation, yes. And a lot of times, it's not fake news or lies. You know what it is? I mean, there is that out there. Let's not pretend that there's not. There's conspiracy theorists. There's people who are messing with people who think it's funny. There's trolls. That stuff is real. But so much of it is, I only want to give my side score. And when you go and you only get your side score, you think, well, that's got to be true. So when you see something else that contradicts that goes 180 degrees from where you are, then you turn another 180 degrees and come back and go, well, hold on a second, that says that. Then you go back the other direction. Goes, well, which one's true? I don't know. And that's why it's tough. Because nobody wants to, because there's no money in giving the facts. There isn't. So you have to pick a lane and you find that niche marketplace and you serve it to the best of your ability. When I have Paul Mercury on, who works with on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, I was talking to him last week, and you know he works on there. He's on there all the time. Writes, does stuff like that with them, and he said, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you needed 10 million people to win the night. You only need 3 now. So who are your 3 million? Just serve them. Because that's all you need to win the night. 3 million viewers. So that's what everybody's done. They found their niche. They serve it. They serve it well. And because people are happy with that and feel that the people that are telling them and giving them information are on the up and up, that everybody else must be full of baloney and lies and they're all irrational. When the reality is everybody's irrational. We think we're rational. They think they're rational. In truth, all of us have a smidge of rational in us and a smidge of irrational. And then, of course, we have our biases and affirmations that we want. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. That's your Twitter. Speaking of that, Colin Kaepernick. You guys remember Colin Kaepernick? You guys, as everybody here remember Colin Kaepernick? I think some people do, some people don't. Well, guess what? This weekend, potentially, because I've heard he may pull out or not, which would be completely stupid, making another shot, at least to try to impress.
Former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick is preparing to work out this Saturday in Atlanta for a host of NFL teams. All 32 teams were invited to attend by the NFL, and so far at least 10 reportedly plan to send reps. Kaepernick tweeting, "I've been in shape and ready for this for 3 years."
Yeah, he's 29, so he's not uber old, and in this day and age, you know, quarterbacks can play, as you can tell, later on. And he doesn't have a lot of tread on those tires. And if you look at his numbers, not bad comparatively to what we've seen out there. But at the same time, you also live in a world where there was a lot of stuff that went down with him, that he became the most important and most watched person on the field, and he was standing on the sidelines. And the NFL, they don't want that, especially from a backup. They don't want that. Right? Like, if you're a star, yeah, okay, we'll put up for it. But if you're not, and potentially you may only be a backup, and if you do play, maybe, I mean, will he ever get back to that point where he was when he went to the Super Bowl? No, I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is locker rooms like to have cohesiveness. They like to keep the lid on stuff, and controversy that overrides what's going on in the locker room as far as the team and where they're going. Good teams don't like that. Bad teams, see the Bengals, see the Cleveland Browns, right? You know, even to a certain extent the Raiders, but for whatever reason, it works with Gruden. But he's going to have to prove to a lot of people that he still has it.
He was a star quarterback who led his team to a Super Bowl 6 years ago, but created a firestorm in 2016, taking a knee during the national anthem to protest police brutality and racial inequality. That action sparking nationwide protests. The following year, Kaepernick became a free agent. The quarterback later filed a grievance against the NFL, alleging collusion after no team would sign him. The two sides eventually settling to undisclosed terms.
Yes. Now, from what I understand, and talking to a couple of people here who work with the NFL and with the team, said that the NFL got sick and tired of taking phone calls asking, well, what's his availability? And they're like, I don't know. If you guys want to sign him, go look at him. Go do it. So they helped put this thing together as all right, here you go. Go ahead. You guys look. There you go. So 10, 11 teams are going to show up. The Dolphins are one of them. Got to be 100% honest with you. The Dolphins are awful. They got a quarterback in Josh Rosen. Is like, he's a lot of people thought he was the most NFL ready. Came to the Cardinals. They traded him away when they had the number 1 overall pick to grab Kyler Murray. And he's not done anything there on an awful team. And he's sitting behind like 48-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick, little Fitzmagic, right? So, and they're going nowhere. They've won a game. The Bengals, yeah, you should get out there and take a look. But does he deserve another chance? I'm going to tell you why this might be his time. First of all, I don't care about the controversy, right? The beauty of America is the freedoms, right, that we have. And that's awesome. I don't have to agree with him, but I will stand up and stand next to him and say, look, this is what you choose to do, is what it is. I don't want to take away your freedoms. It's a private industry. If they want to say some things and do some things, that's on them. I get. But the league has changed in 3 years. Running quarterbacks, right? Kind of in a little bit right now. Kind of a good thing. You got Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. In fact, their backup quarterback, RG3, former Heisman winner, very similar. Their third-string quarterback, exactly the same as that. You've got Kyler Murray now who's showing you've got people, Sean Watson, okay. This guy's shown he can win. But also Michael Bennett, who was the second to do it, who was very vocal. With the Patriots this year, they let him stay in the locker room. What did the Cowboys say? You will stand for our team. You will stand for the national anthem. You will do these things. He was released, signed by the Cowboys. And he was one of the most vocal. Guess what? He's standing, and he's out there. He said his teammates talked him into it. That helps him. Now, I don't know if he's going to get picked up, but I think what I'm hearing is everybody's going to ask the same question. If I sign you, are you here to play football or are you here to advance a cause? Because I'm here to win football games because that's my job. And if you're not going to participate in a certain way and you're going to become a distraction and instead of adding, you're going to be taking away, then we can't have that. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, though. Man, if I was the Dolphins, what do you got to lose? Nobody's showing up at your games, right? Nobody at all showing up to your games. You're struggling. You've won one game. The Bengals haven't won any. What do you have to lose? Right? Maybe he is your get you through the end of the year, have some people pay attention, cause a little excitement, sell a little tickets. Probably not going to change where you end up drafting. Or maybe you find out, hey, he's got some tread in those tires, and he might be something. Who knows? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Got a poll up. I'm telling you guys right now, Trump's talked about it. It's very real in the way that all of this stuff's breaking down with impeachment and why people are so tribal and personal. And I don't think, much like everything else, when you learn to debate, what's the first thing you learn, right? You go and you study the other side's arguments. You look at it from their point of view. And now, instead of doing that, everybody just turns to the choir instead of trying to say, hey, look, let's just do what we can to get the base riled up rather than trying to figure out why our argument can beat your argument.
What's going on now is the single greatest scam in the history of American politics. The Democrats want to take away your guns, your health care. They want to take away your vote. They want to take away your freedom. They want to take away your judges. They want to take away everything. We can never let this happen. We're fighting to drain the swamp, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And you see why we have to do it. Because our country is at stake like never before. They're trying to stop me because I'm fighting for you, and I'll never let that happen.
See? You. They're taking away you, taking away taking away this, taking away that. But when you have the former Democratic candidate and the former president saying things like clinging to God and guns and deplorables, and you feel because they feel like they made it personal, and now you want to take away the person that you voted for? You see why it digs in. It's not hard. It's not hard to make that argument. And that's why I continue to say the people selling this thing to the American people are going about it wrong, and you got the wrong salespeople selling it as well. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Christmas not too far away. You're thinking to yourself, what to get everybody, right? Maybe even get yourself a little something. And you've been looking at earbuds, headphones, things of that nature, and you don't know where to go. Raycon's the only place you need to go. Ray J's put together the most amazing earbuds on the planet. And their latest model, the E25, best one yet. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. So when you're on your calls and whatnot, it's incredible. So comfortable. No matter what you're doing, whether you're listening and rocking out to music or like me, audiobook or taking phone calls, it's awesome. And people say, well, are they half the price? I've seen what the big savings are, right? And they're far less than even half the price. Far less than even half the price. They're incredible. So you're saying to yourself, all right, that sounds good. How do I get them? You go to buyraycon.com/Chad. On top of them being already inexpensive, you're going to save 15%. It's buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
It could be a small price to pay for a piece of art that resembles the original. A Paris auction house is selling a 17th century copy of the famous Mona Lisa, not the real one that hangs in the Louvre. And this one is not painted by Leonardo da Vinci, but a high-quality copy of the painting. Its estimated value between 70 and 80,000 euros. Another 17th century copy of the Mona Lisa sold earlier this year at Sotheby's in New York. That one, painted by a follower of da Vinci's, fetched $1.69 million US.
And apparently there's a debate about this one because scholars and people in the art world said that he painted two of them because the person who commissioned him to paint the Mona Lisa said that essentially that the first attempt he wasn't thrilled with. So they did it again. It's like, I didn't like the first one. It kind of sucked. So he did it again. I've always wondered, like, what would somebody pay for it? The Mona Lisa. Like, what would somebody pay for it? Earlier this year, you saw a painting go for what? $450? $500 million? What do you think the Mona Lisa would be worth? I mean, billion? $1.5 billion? Because if you have... Right, it was Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi that went for what, $450 million, which was insane because it was bought for 45 pounds, about $55 and 58. It's a good investment right there. But what would that thing go for? Billion? $1.5 billion? There's about 10 people that would buy it, right? And people would be willing to throw that kind of money at it because that's it. Like, you're getting the most famous piece of art on the planet. Hell yeah, I think people do it. $1.5 billion, $2 billion, just to say, look what I got. Look what I got. Got myself a little Mona Lisa. Ooh, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. But you don't show it off to anybody. I mean, they're still trying to figure out what the hell to do with it at the Louvre. Like, because so many people were taking selfies with it and things of that nature. It's like, what do you do with that thing? Where would you put it? You're going to put it somewhere strange? Because it's been all over the place. If you go look at its history, it's been in people's bathrooms and stuff like that. And next thing you know, boom, there it is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet about me. So Disney Plus, 10 million people signed up the first day, 1 million plus within just minutes of it just taking off. But you've got all kinds of different things with cultural appropriations, and they're running, little things before it, warning people not to be triggered. But something else happened with an episode of The Simpsons.
Can't believe you never heard of me. I'm a very popular entertainer.
Oh, of course I've heard of you. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock not to know. What'd you say your name was?
Michael Jackson.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, have you heard of MTV?
Nope.
Motown?
No.
Beat It?
You beat it.
Thriller?
What was that last one?
Thriller?
Nope.
Well, how about this?
Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who says that I am the one. But the kid is not my son.
Yeah, they pulled that episode. So you can't get that. We were talking earlier. I think in the future, you're going to have to go before people and have them rate whether or not you should be allowed to do this. And unless it's uniformity, 100% yes, They'll decide what you can and can't do. Kind of like an HOA. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show.